welcome to the world of ability. My name is Sue Roscoff, and we are here every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central to celebrate all things ability related and to introduce everybody to some friends of ours that some old, some new. And we are very, very excited for the group that we have joining us today. So I'm going to go ahead and start out with introducing Swami Tirtha to the show here. Swami, come on in. If you want to go ahead and share with everybody, I know you have on your screen Grow Young Again.
Yes,
And please tell us more about that. I know you've got some great information to share for us.
sure. Well, everybody would love to grow young again for various reasons. Certainly, the parents and grandparents, they have issues and their cells don't regenerate like they used to. But also for the younger folks who are entrepreneurs, who are working hard, focusing, they need stamina. And then there are people in the Olympics, who are really just pushing for the gold, or professional athletes. And they use some of these technologies that I'm going to share with you to help them grow young. But what that means for them is stay focused, have stamina, and win gold medals and titles and things like that. So what it is very simple. It's a cutting edge. It is really a wellness disruptor, all in this little tiny Band-Aid looking thingy here. And what this does is it allows our body's own inner cells, master cells, our mitochondria, our copper peptides, to actually reverse the aging process. And who doesn't like that sound, right? So
This sounds amazing.
now there are injections. People use injections of stem cells to help regenerate themselves. That's still cutting edge, but it's an external, something external. This we have is just wakes up using inner light, our infrared light. I don't want to get too scientific because I don't know what I'm talking about when I get that down that road. But our DNA produces light and heat, and it's called infrared light. And if you think of this patch as a mirror, we put it on our body. I have one on the back of my neck. You put it anywhere you want. And as the heat and light escape, it doesn't escape at here. It bounces back in and tells the body, strengthen our might, give energy to the let the mitochondria produce more energy because it's all internal. Nothing in the patch goes into us. Isn't that a nice relief? We don't have to worry what's going in our bodies. Nothing. Our body has all it needs to heal. What a concept. And so that's the essence of it. Any questions, I'll be happy to help with this. Otherwise, I
Well,
could share some stories.
yeah, one question I have is if people want to find out more information about this or if they want to be in touch with you, how is the best way to do that?
Yes, you go to orangecowboy.com or connect, CONNECT, connect at orangecowboy.com, and I will talk to you. We can set up a meeting, a live Zoom call, and chat for a few minutes and answer all your questions.
So I got to ask. This is one question I haven't asked yet. Orange Cowboy. There's got to be a story there.
Yeah, there is. I was one summer I was in a camp taking courses all summer long, and I love orange. It's the color of joy. I see I forgot her name, but she's wearing the orange down there. She's wearing it like a pro. It's the color of joy. And I see the color orange in my head, and I was so joyful. I just started wearing it. I had an orange cowboy hat. And then the people started to say to me, or not to me, but to a friend, hey, who's that orange cowboy? And they'd all crack up happy. And I said, look at that. I'm making people happy, and I haven't even met them yet. So they told me what my brand is. It's me. I'm not doing anything different. And it's just too hot today to wear an orange cowboy hat. It's even too hot to wear a orange baseball cap. But
I love it. Excellent. Well, and I'm gonna just go and introduce our next guest here and see if anyone else has any questions. Please feel free to speak up and do so. So Darren Crosby is joining us as well, and I know you two have actually gotten a chance to meet before today, so you're both
right.
ahead of me. Darren, welcome. And can you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you are here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, first off, thanks for having me and happy Saturday to everybody. Darren Crosby, from Atlanta, Georgia, or as the folks here call it, Hot Atlanta. And temperature is already getting up to 90 degrees, which is way too soon for it to be hitting 90 degrees in Atlanta. That means August is going to be painfully hot. But outside of that, you must be down in Florida.
That's where I am.
Wow.
Whereabouts in Florida are you, Swami?
I was in north central Florida, a little bit west of Ocala.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, my mom grew up, spent some time in Ocala, and then middle school and high school in Winter Park, Florida. And then my dad's from Jacksonville.
Yeah,
So,
that's a little
and I
cool.
went to Florida State, so I'm very, very familiar with the state.
Right.
But anyhow, I am a business consultant, Crosby Business Consultants, and I help small, medium-sized businesses make smart, strategic financial decisions. I help them build and establish their corporate credit tied to the company's tax ID number, which ultimately sets them up to have a variety of funding options available and financing options without any personal guarantees, separating their personal assets from the business. And it's something that resonates with me. I've been an entrepreneur for the better part of 20 years, and I owned a mortgage company for a little while, owned 3 Wingstop restaurant franchise locations, built some spec homes, and then had a golf cart company. The golf cart company was going great, bought it in 2013 for $900,000, and or it was doing 900,000 in revenue. And then we closed out the books on 2019. We were at 2.5 million in revenue, and 90% of our business was golf cart rentals to all of the festivals and events around Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. And a date that I will never forget, March 6, 2020, the game musical chairs came to an end, and there wasn't a chair for me. I had right as we were hitting our peak spring festival season, I had every single event canceled on me for March, April, May, and June. Called all my festival and event folks. I'm like, when's this stuff coming back? And they were like, it's going to be at least a year. But it ended up being 2 years in Atlanta. I had a 20,000 square foot warehouse space that the rent was to the tune of $15,500 a month. And north of Atlanta, called my landlord. I was like, hey, I'm gonna need some help. And their idea of working with me made 0 sense. And I told them, I was like, look, I'm not sitting at a poker table in Vegas. If you don't go with what I proposed, then I will bankrupt this company, tie up the space through the end of the year while I'm liquidating the company. And I don't think you have a whole lot of people knocking down your door to lease up 20,000 square feet of space, especially when half a mile down the road, 500,000 square feet just went vertical and is trying to get leased. And they said, well, you do what you got to do. So June 30th of 2020, bankrupted the company, and unfortunately had to file personal bankruptcy because I was personal guarantor on a bunch of stuff. And so overnight, I went from a 800 plus credit score to about a 525, 530 credit score. And I had no idea you could do something like building corporate credit to avoid personal guarantees. And when I came on board with TJ Corporate Consultants, I work under the umbrella of them. The first conversation I had with Earl Adams, one of the founders, was, if I'd known about corporate credit in 2013, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because my golf cart company would still be in business, because I could have had access to a $2 million line of credit and just told all my guys, hey, go home, drive Uber, DoorDash, whatever, and I'll give you a call when this comes back, and just had the minimum amount of expenses. But so that's why it really resonates to me. And I've always been passionate about small, medium-sized businesses. Love it when I see a friend, previous coworker, whatever, make that leap from the corporate world to owning their own business, be it a franchise, starting something from the ground up. And just love to see small businesses thrive, grow, and most importantly, stay in business. And that is my goal, to help them thrive and stay in business. So that's my little quick story. And if anybody has any questions, more than happy to answer them. But yeah, and thanks again for having me.
Thrilled that you're here. Actually, I'm going to open it up to the floor here. Did you guys have any questions for each other before I dive in?
I think that's awesome. This is a great opportunity, Sue, because we all are some business owners who have been affected by different things, but we're still thriving and everything. So thank you for this beautiful connection. And yes, orange is a happy color. It's so much joy. And I learned that, and I would like to roll over and share you my story. When I went to Hawaii in 2008, I went to, I guess, visit, and ended up working. Somehow creatively working with some physical limitations. So aloha, I'm Marianne of Waikiki. And how I got the title was I used to be a case manager back in Michigan a long time ago with the deaf. And through a personal injury of a car accident, I lost some of my hearing and my neck and my back, vertigo and everything. But I wanted to go to the Hawaiian Islands, and guess what? The universe provided for me. And I got to live on a sailboat. Now imagine that, right? And I'm walking down on Easter, and I see a deaf guy walking down the boardwalk with a hearing aid. And I tap his shoulder. I go, "Do you know sign language?" He goes, "Yes, I do." I said, "Well, I just went to the Unity Church of Hawaii." And we went and had brunch, and that friendship became more of a creativity and an idea of a dream. So how I got the title of Marianne of Waikiki, because I would wear a fancy hat down on the sailboat. And that way he knew where to find his interpreter, not only in the Unity Church of Hawaii, at Sea Life Park. He went sailing with us. And gosh, how did we get to go and do that kind of stuff with persons with disabilities? Because our captain of the sailboat was a chiropractor, and his wife was an acupuncturist. And we became Reiki masters over there and healers. And I got to, on the beach, be on the Duke's Ocean Fest, where 5 deaf surfers were out there every August on Duke's Ocean Fest, and I volunteered my services. And it was great fun. And the creativity, I guess, which what I has, and still do, Marianne of Waikiki. I noticed all this garbage was floating around the sailboat, wanted to know why. Now, every 2 years, the Trans-Pacific Garbage Patch comes between Hawaii and California. So, Sue, if you could be kind to pull up the Underwater Acts of Kindness video trailer, that will really share more of the story that we're going to get into. But anyway, I want to share a new person that's joining us, the bird guy. He's a retired veteran. My deaf friend Scott and I were walking down the marketplace to Aloha Tower. No, it was Aloha Marketplace down there, Waikiki. And we met the bird guy. And he's a retired veteran, and he's being of service. And he has these amazing birds. And talking about color, my deaf friend, being hearing impaired, deaf from age 7, could speak very well, had a lot of good speech therapy. We're all into vibrant colors. And as an interpreter, you want solids behind you, and this is happy and joy and vibrations and beautiful colors. You can see the blend together. It's just gorgeous. And we were down there meeting the bird guy, and we loved it. This is a sign for bird. We became friends. He took pictures of all these families on vacations. Then he went off to Sea Life Park. And his entrepreneur is a veteran as well, and transformed lives. It brings people together, and bird therapy, and as well as so my deaf friend and I went out Sea Life Park. We got to do a show for ocean cleanup. We brought our other friends, Carlina Costume, and then we met Lucy Lynch at the church, and she's the soundtrack of it. We did a show for Youth Day up there. They had Youth Day events at the Senate. We had great fun. And the Parrot Puppets by Folk Manis, the Bird Guy purchased. And so I want to introduce a long friend too. He's a veteran. We're highlighting veterans because, you know, my background's in hearing loss, and I met with Tripler Army Medical Hospital up there way back when I first came out with the first book, the second one. And the chief of audiologist was a graduate of Central Michigan University, where I graduated from. And she read my manuscripts and cried. She's like, oh my gosh, what can we do? So the only thing that servicemen and women want their hearing back. And if you're born deaf or become deaf, this is a part of life. And you're a hearing aid or a cochlear implants, you have choices. You have total communication, people who want to learn sign language, family members, or they slap your hands and say, no, you're going to live in a hearing world. And this is what we're inquiring now. So this is the power of the Acts of Kindness series, featuring 200 Folk Manis puppets written for animation movies with sign language characters, and no one has done that. We want to support our veterans and their families and their children and grandchildren who can't hear their moms and dads now, of being of service. So that was the whole goal. I got tears of joy of my orange colors, and I'm Marianne of Waikiki because that's my brand name and that was my hat name. And Bird knows it. Birdman knows it too. So I'm getting tears of joy. I want to introduce him before I'm talking about the happiness and joy. And that was really what Scott talked about too, about the happy colors of what you're wearing to raise your vibrations. He's looking at me as an interpreter. We're all looking at each other. Raise your vibrations, raise your smile. I want to introduce the bird guy because guess what? He's early bird this morning out of Oahu, Hawaii, and he's out there making senior citizen centers happen. And tell us a little bit more, bird guy. I'm so happy that you're here. And I'm sorry if I don't know your real name, but he's a retired veteran entrepreneur as well. Please join us. And aloha. I'm Marianne of Waikiki.
Hey, how's it? Everything's okay here. I'm happy. See people from Georgia and people from Hawaii. I mean, from Florida. I lived here 25 years and from Chicago originally, and I don't miss Chicago at all. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Okay.
Yes,
Maybe
we can hear you.
Yep,
Yes, we
hear
can.
you.
Please
Oh,
go
really?
on. Yes. And how's it? That's a Hawaii slang. How's it?
I don't know,
Love
say
it.
came out automatically. It's kind of funny, but bizarre. I'm not wearing orange. I'm sorry. But I'm always happy.
But you're wearing the army green. But I know. But plus, tell us what your background was of being of service. We have the military over there in Hawaii, servicing the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, and the Coast Guard on the island of Oahu, where I was there for over a decade. And thank you again for being of service. Please share us what service you were in.
I was in the Navy. I'm real close to Pearl Harbor, but I was on a carrier, the USS Oriskany, floating around on the ocean and enjoying it. That was back in the 70s, though. I'm considered a Vietnam vet in that era, so I enjoyed it, but I didn't see no war or anything. Just flipping eggs for the crew, and that's where I was a boatswain mate, which is a painter, paints the ship and tears it apart and fixes it again. But then I turned into a mess specialist, which is a hell of a lot nicer than all that other duties on the ship. But I was in it for 4 years, and that was 4 years enough. We went to visit Hawaii and Philippines and Hong Kong, and happy to get in there and learn the experience and had fun and got to see lots of the world or parts of the world. And luckily I'm out. Went back to Chicago, didn't like it, went to some community college and said, I'm going to come back to Hawaii. And I came visit Hawaii one more time and I never left. So I was here 25 years now and I don't regret a minute of it. I love it. Any other questions?
Thank you for being of service. So tell us
Thank you.
about being a bird master and the birds and therapy and the different kinds of birds and the colors. I mean, you've been doing portraits with family. That's family therapy right there. And you know,
Yeah.
I called you and I said, hey, I won the Awesome Grant Foundation Award. We gifted the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind a water unit with Leon McLaughlin in my books. And, you know, we applied. I said, hey, it took 15 minutes and I won $1,000. You should do the same. You're like, oh, I was thinking about going out and doing stuff at senior centers. Tell us about your volunteering and how your birds and parrots are very therapeutic for veterans and families and everybody. That is just amazing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I got all kinds of birds, from everything from finches to the hyacinth macaw, which is the big blue macaw from Rio de Janeiro. They're kind of endangered. They're valued at about $20,000. I have altogether about 120 birds all around my house. It's like a Jurassic Park, and I got neighbors all around me. And years ago, I had a couple complaints, and the city and county came and gave me a little bit of a hassle, and I got rid of a couple birds, saying, "Oh, those are the ones that are noisy," which I just weeded a few out to make them feel happier, cockatoos and everything. And $18,000 fine, $1,800 fine. I'm sorry. And but I paid it and never heard a word since. That was back in, oh God, at least 10 years ago. So no complaints, but they can be noisy at times. And I guess people realize that, but by law, they got to go 15 minutes nonstop, like a dog barking obnoxiously. But the birds just yell out a couple screams once in a while and let people know that it's daytime, and letting people know it's sunset, and just alert the neighborhood. But then I get people walking down the sidewalk or down the street, and they look up, and it's somewhat of a show to see some beautiful scarlet macaws in big cage, and gawking down at them. And but I got all kinds, like I said, um, maybe about 30 different breeds. But
I have a quick question for you too. What I experienced here, I'm in San Carlos, Mexico. So, bird guy, we've been in communication. We left the island of Oahu. We sailed by sailboat, and friends from the Hawaii Yacht Club, and I met new sailors down here. So we're driving, and friends visiting, and we're making sure our pets are, certified. The captain from Hawaii did, and my captain friend too, Carla. So we're driving to the vet, okay? And we saw, don't get me wrong, you see these amazing people outside on the side of the road with a little bitty parrot inside of a bull cage, selling them, hangling, dangling them. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. I want to have one. And then they go, no. I said, we're on the way to the vet. Well, we can pick one up and take it to the vet. And I said, no, there's bird flu. So can you give us some advice for people who kind of see these amazing birds on the side of the road that seem to be in a cage to bring them home? And what kind of expectations, vets? I mean, there's papers. I mean, we've sailed with dogs, and dogs have to have papers. People, service dogs have to have papers. Can you tell us a little bit about papers with dog or with the birds? And we'll have another pet friend, Debbie Miller, but can you educate us a little bit more about that and transportation, and especially bird flu? I don't, and a bird just came over and asked me for some popcorn. Of course, I gave it to them. They know where the popcorn is here at my house. But tell us some more about what we need to know right now as pet owners.
papers, I don't know. There's no such thing on this side. I don't have papers for my birds or anything, but to ship them out, they have to be quarantined and inspected. And certain birds are not allowed to leave the island or come into the island. We have, I always wanted a toucan. They're kind of sloppy and hard to manage birds, but they're not allowed on this island. And then there's our certain other cute birds that I really want, and they're not allowed. But Yeah, I remember being in Tijuana and further south of there, and I saw what kind of birds were they? I'd love to have you send me a picture of. I think they're probably Amazons, you know, and bird flu. I don't know. I'm scared to death to even know or learn anything about the bird flu because then it might sneak up on top of me or something. There were a bird flu with chickens over here and scared to death. And I like closed the curtains so people wouldn't come around here or anything. But I never had a bad experience with any of the bird flus. But then I knew people in Pearl Harbor, which is not far from me. And they had their ducks in there, had a lot of their chickens euthanized and they're just so fed up with Hawaii that they grabbed 60 of their birds, mostly cockatiels and lovebirds and a few chickens, and they've just moved off the island. Cost them thousands of dollars to move everything, but they moved to Georgia, and that was a big expense to them because they were afraid that they were going to come and take all their cockatiels. But they got out of here in time. But yeah, don't know anything about the bird flu. And the less I know, the better. My eyes.
Awesome. I have one other question that came to mind. Is we work with Leon McLaughlin Clean Water Foundation, who I met, and he brings water units worldwide to schools, hospitals, and clinic. And back to the awesome foundation grant award that I won for $1,000. I was traveling with the Disability Channel. Jay Stoyan was interviewing me. I was up in Canada. Leon went back to Hawaii and he was present at the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind. But now we did it through Zoom. And how did we do it? Without the World of Ability people such as Emily Gomeyer, Kurt Roskoff, and Sue. We have a beautiful story and we shipped the books and we made a video with Leon presenting this water unit. Not only with a deaf principal, a sign language interpreter, that's a lot of work. Birdman, you saw me interpret for my deaf friend for over a decade. And the great fun, but the physical pain kind of comes and goes. And we got to do all this amazing stuff. But what I'm getting down to is that Clean Water Foundation and the military, the Red Hill over there was affected. 100,000 people, families were affected because contaminated water.
Yeah.
And it's an honor that we have Leon over there. We're working together. I'm working on Zoom. I have I'm doing amazing projects. So I have the video trailer. Sue, if you could bring that up. But Leon will be back in November. He's doing a coffee with a cause. And again, this is a part of a show too that the World of Ability and veterans, everybody deserves clean, fresh drinking water. There was 100,000 families that were affected. They had to be misplaced and go into hotels. We went through COVID, and all of us deserve the quality of fresh drinking water. And so I'm grateful that I can share that with you as well. And hopefully he'll be joining us later in the show, and he'll be back in November. We don't have dates at the Ilokai Hotel, well, what was my home stopping ground for over a decade. We want you there to do a show with your birds and all that stuff. So again, we're talking on clean water. We're partnering with them. And so if you could be kind or a guest to see the new videos that I created. So Bert, I was down there and had this ideas with the books and the characters and the puppets. The Folk Manas Company really makes great puppets. You bought a couple from me. And we have a new Water Flow the Whale. They sold them at Sea Life Park, other places. We got to do fun events with them. Theater, stage character, I was teaching kind of, the ideas. I'm going to teach 10 basic signs with us for ocean cleanup. And we also got Donors Choose. Up at Kamiley Charter School, Marilyn Rogers requested 50 books and she got funded in 2 weeks. And I want to highlight too, Subaru Hawaii a couple of years ago gave $25,000 to Donors Choose teachers on the islands of Hawaii. So teachers who were requesting products were gifted these different types of products. It could be carpet, air conditioning, conditions change, but the idea is that, these are educational, you want to say toys, products. It's what's happening and it's impacting marine life. And I'm just really excited to. I'm going to share, Birdman. Sue is a marine biologist professor. I forgot to share with you in Wisconsin, who her students graduate and come over to the island of Hawaii to finish their second part of their bachelor's. And I'll let her, she's a marine biologist and she's dedicated to do the show and dedicated to veterans. So we got some new talent from her graduating the new classes coming over to the island of Oahu. I hope to come back and visit in November, and we're working on Zoom and everything. There's just so much opportunity to share here, and we want you back every week too as well. And again, so nice to be here. So again, for the families of the Red Hill contamination, Leanne McLaughlin and other people are doing stuff that we make sure that they have clean water filters. And if not, for that $1,000 of applying for 15 minutes, I know the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind have a clean, fresh water drinking unit. And Leanne was present and we have a video of it, as well as they have our books for anti-bullying and coloring books. So Sue, do you have the video of it? I think more that would share more.
Yeah. Where I'm at right now, I'm not able to play that, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine. But in the future, we've done it, and I'm just excited that Bird Guy is here too. So tell us about the first initiative, because we have veterans here, and what are you guys doing on June 7th? And we are offering a book called Underwater Acts of Kindness for a free download. What's going on June 7th? Tell us what we're doing for the veterans.
Well, actually, just before I hit that, I know we have John Petro Sr. joining us as well, so I want to give him a chance to say hello. John, are you handy there that you're able to come on and say hi with us? Feel free to, once I see your videos up, I'll know you're good to go. You're welcome to hop in whenever you can here. So on June 7th, we have the Veterans First Initiative telethon taking place. There's a group called FANA, People for a New America, and they have several different subset committees with their group, and one of them is the Veterans First Initiative. And we have a lot of people going into, and a lot of locations. There's so much that is building and going to be taking place. I'm Central Time Zone, so where I'm at, it's from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. And that entire telethon will be live streamed from all these locations. So the first 2 hours is going to be with Jay Stoyan and the Disability Channel out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. He will be hosting those first 2 hours, and there's going to be a lot of entertainment, lots of music, lots of big names there. Then it switches to us in the Midwest. So we have the Project Die Hard group. I'm an ambassador with Project Die Hard. We have a location in Illinois, and we have lots of different, again, lots of guests that are lined up, and still room possibly for a couple more to be joining us, potentially. We're getting those details all squared away, but we have it from 1 to 3 Central on the 7th. And then we switch over to Arizona. There's a group there that has the next 2 hours from 3 to 5. And then in Los Angeles, the finale portion of the event is with the founders of the event and some world-class entertainment taking place and highlighted during that last 2 hours. You will be amazed to know who's all going to be there. One of the guys that's heading this all up actually is the drummer from The Sweet. So if you're familiar with the song Ballroom Blitz, that's him. So it's going to be a great day. It's going to be for a good cause, for an amazing cause, because we should be putting veterans first in all of our lives, all of our spheres of influence, and that doesn't happen often enough. So that is something where we're hoping to make some change. We're hoping to make a difference, and being able to share with our veterans and be able to put them in the light that they should be in, and at the level of respect and appreciation and all the things, because it's the right thing to do. I know with what we do with Project Die Hard, there's the biggest piece that the why it exists is to provide hope to veterans. There's unfortunate. It's like I always feel like I'm underplaying the importance here, and I don't know how to give the best words I can to make the impact that it needs to be, because we lose more of our servicemen and women to suicide than any other population demographic out there. It is a lopsided, unbelievable, horrible statistic, and we need to make a difference there. There's so many things that we need our veterans for. They give so much. They have given so much, and to lose them to suicide is not okay. To lose anybody is not okay. But the drastic difference of more than half of the people that we lose to suicide in America are veterans, and that we can make a difference, and that's part of what this is all about, is to do what we can to make that difference, provide hope. So that's a big chunk of what Project Die Hard is, and we can dive more into that as time allows. But I do want to flip back here to see if whenever you're available and want to come on and share a bit about who you are, what you are all doing too. I want to make sure to give you a chance. And let's see here. And I know I do have another friend joining us shortly here that will be hopping on in. I actually, just to give you guys a heads up, I will be handing the reins over here in a little while because I need to hop out and attend to another piece that's happening locally here. I guess I can share a bit as far as where I am right now. I'm at the girls' high school rugby national tournament right now. And my daughter is playing in it, and her next game starts pretty soon here. So that's where if you guys are okay with me handing over the hosting and everything, that is something I'm hoping I'm able to do. I can just maybe stay in the background, but I may lose signal for a moment where I'm going to be. So I'm hoping I can stay on, but I'm not sure. So just to give you that heads up on what my logistics are today. It's an unusual weekend because of that. It's national, so you got to celebrate. So I want to flip back here, and actually, Marianne, if you wouldn't mind, I could hand over the reins to you for a bit right now, so that you can go ahead and bring more out with what Bruce is all doing. The bird guy, I love it. I really appreciate you being here and joining us and sharing some of your experience of what you all do. That I love hearing from different folks from different places and what you're able to do and offer. And this is great. Thank you so much for being here and joining us. Marianne, is that okay if I'm gonna hand it back to you for a moment here?
Yeah, it is. And again, yes, it's Bruce the bird guy, and I apologize. I had eye surgery too, and so looking at the iPhone, and I say forget names, but I know that he's the bird guy, but it's Bruce. So Bruce, do you have time to share your story with us a little bit more in this amazing Zoom, and show us the birds? It's so fascinating, and the floor is yours, and we'd love to learn about different types of birds, and what are good for kids, maybe not kids, parents, people. Yeah. And what happens when people think, oh, we want a pet, and then it's not really for them? And what happens? Pet rescue? Because we have another friend, Debbie Miller, that comes on with pet rescue and service pets. When I was an interpreter with Scott Burrows, remember we had Wolfie the service dog, and he was a little Pomeranian, and everybody would look like, how is he a service dog? But he was, because we went and got the papers. Went and got him certified. He was able to go on the bus. And Bruce, and then people would go, well, a Pomeranian? I go, well, my friend Scott is deaf, and when people knock on the door, he barks. Well, if he drops something, he picks it up. Those are what service pets, dogs can do. And I don't want to forget too our service horses, because I got to do some events with the Polo Club up there, and we wrote a book called Pono the Hawaiian Polo Pony. So Bruce, share your stories and how birds and therapy and affect people, and what's your thoughts on that? And if you want to go on something else, please share with us, because it is, people love pets, and pets are there for a purpose. So, and we'll have Deb's Pets and Pets for a Purpose. And take it away, Bruce. I got my glasses on, I can see a little bit better here. I'm so excited to see you again.
Funny. Okay, yeah. Well, I wanted to share this flyer. I was digging around looking for pictures, and I didn't want to walk away from the phone. But I got this flyer here. Oh, see, I got low batteries too. But this is one of my flyers. I don't know if that's right on or not. But you can see these kids right here. That's what
It's perfect. It's perfect. We can see it. Tell us more.
well,
What
that's what I
events are you doing?
and well, I just did a thing at the Blaisdell, the convention center. That's called the Pet Expo, and I'm the biggest hit of the place. You know, I mean, they got dogs, cats, turtles, birds. I mean, I'm the only. Well, no, two other people with birds, but people come from just to come to see me. They say, oh, I just come here just get update on my pictures, you know, and I just use people like a Christmas tree and just decorate them with birds, you know, and they enjoy it. And knock on wood, none of the birds get bite people, you know, and 99% of them don't mess with the jewelry because normally you put a bird on a shoulder and they go for the earrings or the piercing in your nose. They said no, they go more for freckles and moles and little imperfections on people, you know. I said, you want that mold taken off? I can work on that. But it's funny, you know, people kind of yeah, they laugh. It's true though. But then if they get pooped on, you know, then oh Jesus, I got to make up a good story. You know, that's good luck. You know, you get pooped on, that's good luck. You know, I said head out to Vegas. Um, so it's good. I mean, like I said, you know, you saw the picture, and this little girl here was at my arm's length. You know, so it's kind of cool. And they walk away with happy faces. You know, and I usually have a tip jar or but my son, he knows better not to have tip jars because people feel obligated to give you money. But if you put a tip jar in there, they'll only put $1 in or something like that. We usually say, $5, $10, or depends on what you drive. What kind of car you drive? Oh, we drive a BMW. Oh, you should put maybe a 20 in. No, just decent. But we try to make it enjoyable and fun, you know. So but we work nonstop at the Pet Expo. The people was lined up the whole 6 hours, and we made $600 a piece, you know, a day, and that worked out pretty good. You know, I mean, it could have been more. It was hard work, you know, nonstop, but it went by fast. And then I did something at the Easter at the Halikoa, you know, which is a veterans hotel near in Waikiki. You know that. You probably own the place. Um, but it was Wounded Warriors, you know. So I was going to get some pictures. They said they were going to send me some pictures, and they never did yet. But I know Dave Livingston. He's the photographer for most of the unusual events in Hawaii, and he usually sends me. But I didn't push him hard enough. Said, hey, send me pictures. But you know, everybody's happy. You know, kids get a kick out of it, and some people really break their phobia. You know, they're scared of birds, and then after my little experience, they said, I love birds, and then people want birds then after. But you know, it's hard well, it's not really hard, but I got so many, but to take care of them. But it's a commitment, so you got to feed them right and give them a little attention and take care of them. I don't ever take my birds to vets unless they're dying, and then if they're dying, I normally don't want to take them to the vet anyway because they're dying. And vets once a bird's dying or something's wrong, you know, they hold their sickness for till they're almost dead. So it's kind of unusual, you know, to see a bird really sick because they were probably sick for a while. But you gotta. It's always good to weigh them all the time, but I never do that. They start losing weight, you know that something's wrong. And some of them are on different diets. You know, macaws need extra nuts, you know, extra fat. Other birds need more fruits and vegetables and miscellaneous things like that. So um, I do my best to keep them alive. But you know, I have 120 of them. They're not all party birds. You know, I breed them too. So, so I
So
breed them.
I got a quick question. You brought me back to memory lane in high school. We got lovebirds. Okay, again, little bird in the
Okay.
cage. I named him Spike. Okay,
Okay.
and I put him on my shoulder, and I'm getting ready to graduate from college. And somehow the universe told me what this was my next mission was to go to school for hearing loss or audio. I didn't know, I'm 18, but anyway, Spike sat on my shoulder and he just, note taking, writing, and he just sat there and just wanted to put his little beak into the paper of everything that I wrote. And I thought it was funny. And I'm like, yeah, well, Mom, are you really going to believe me? The dog ate my paper when my bird ate my paper, but he loves sitting there on my shoulder. And we love birds, okay, in our house, right? They're cute little parakeets. And anyway, that brings a great memory and the upkeep with them and all that kind of fun. And yeah, so I wanted to share that with the story too. So yeah, so thank you so much. And how do you name your birds? How do you, is it because of their personality, their nationality? Um, what,
Well,
or just because, yeah. And, I remember too, on a 4th of July, we were watching these, the white ones that came out and, talking to their owners about the dishwasher and their comebacks can be pretty aggressive and a foul mouth as a bird. And that's speech therapy, and that's good. So tell us a little. We talk about hearing loss and speech therapy here too. How do birds learn how to repeat, reduplicate? They're saying the same thing, and if not, they're watchers. So tell us a little bit more, if you can tell us.
I have African grays, and I'm actually babysitting one right now, and my cell phone goes woohoo when I get a text message, and the god dang bird is going woohoo. I think that she's in Paris right now. She's coming back next week, and Marcella, you don't know Marcella by any chance in Waikiki, do you? She walks around with a bird occasionally on the
I haven't
beach.
been there in a while, but yeah, okay,
Okay,
yeah, sure.
her name is Marcella. She's nice. And but her bird's saying woohoo all the time. Well, I'm wondering what the hell's going on. And it is her bird, and it's crazy. I mean, they could pick up anything, especially African grays. They're real clever and on the ball. And they'll pick up the garbage truck going down, beep, 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 or the microwave. It's insane. It's really, really, really crazy. And the telephone ring, the actual original ring on a telephone, they can do that perfectly. But talking, everybody wants to know, does your bird talk? Well, they talk, but usually not on cue, but they'll say aloha and hello and what's up and night night and I don't know. So they do talk when they want, it's possible. But by naming them, though, I got a big blue hyacinth macaw, and I call him Sky, which is an appropriate name. Then I got a green bird I call Mulligan for Irish name, because he's green, and Rainbow for a scarlet macaw, which is multicolor. So, and then every goddamn bird that has a sun conure like that, guess what's his name? 99% of the people that have sun conures name their bird that name. You have any idea? Say mango.
No idea. Please share it.
Say mango.
Ah,
I mean,
we love
but
it. We love
sun
it.
conure, call a goddamn bird mango. Anyway, then I got Buddy as you probably know some of my birds. Buddy, I still got Buddy, umbrella cockatoo. There's the kind that you see on YouTube all the time, talking up a storm and dancing and dancing to the music. I got a Moluccan cockatoo that's a real life of the party, so his name's Sebastian. He says, I'm Sebastian. So he's a big hit when I take him to parties. And all kinds, all colors, so it's interesting. I charge the people, I probably not enough, but $250 the first hour and $150 the second hour. But I did something at Turtle Bay just the other day for 3 hours, and I got $800 for it, which wasn't too bad. But I had to drive an hour to get there. So, but everybody, usually walks away happy, you know, and content. And that's great. But I have insurance, bird insurance, just in case they get hurt. They can't take my house away. But knock on wood, if the birds bite, you know, usually the people say, "Oh, it's my fault," because I stopped saying these birds don't bite. Every time I say that, they got to stick their finger in their mouth just to prove me wrong. So, you know, if somebody put their finger in my mouth, damn it, I normally don't bite either. But if they did, I'd probably bite or punch someone. They stick their finger in my mouth. But so I don't know. Birds are birds, you know, they're animals. And sometimes, very seldom, do they go for like watches or something shiny, but that's a normal thing for any animal or bird. So, knock on wood, I'm no complaints. So, and people enjoy it, like you say, and I'm sure their picture is on their refrigerator in thousands and thousands of different homes. You know, it's a memory that in Hawaii but they're not from Hawaii, you know, but they come to Hawaii to see bird photos or to get their bird photos, but they're all from South America, Indonesia, and Africa, and Mexico, and all that stuff. So they're anywhere but here, but I got them all here. What can I say?
That's
So
awesome. What a life, a
yeah,
luxury we have had, and being of service or having great fun. And, you know, I just want to highlight too, you know, when I'm creating these books, um, you know, the creativity was there and it was fun because I had 200 puppets, but I didn't do it by myself. I did it with my deaf friend Scott, who you met, right? And they had a spiritual meaning. And we have Debbie here. I want to introduce you. So, you know, Bruce, you know,
yes,
when I created NOAA, the National Oceanic Hearing, sorry, forgive me. NOAA, the hard of hearing whale, it was honor of the National Oceanic Atmospheric Agency. And when I first came over, they shut down the super ferry, and I didn't know why. Well, I'm from Michigan, and here you go. And I'm sitting out there in the harbor going, wow. And I was reading an article from NOAA, and Splash was a project that was talking about the marine life and hearing loss. Excuse me, with sea creatures. And I was like, well, how would they put a whale in a sound booth and test his hearing and put hearing aids on this whale? Well, you're going to have to read Underwater Acts of Kindness. So that was kind of my mind thought and creativity. And I had a great time out there, and especially interpreting and doing some amazing shows for entertainers and talking story about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Well, we have now the book trailers, and the series is completed. And I'm so grateful for my team, Susie and Sims, Lucy Lynch, my deaf friend Scott, and everybody. And the good times that we had at Sea Life Park. And Nick's guitar sounds like whales and dolphins. So we are looking forward to sharing it around the world, especially with Clean Water Foundation. I want to bring on Deb Pets here. Bruce is a good friend of mine, way backstory back in the day, lives on the island of Oahu. He has how many birds? He's a retired veteran, and we're talking about taking care of pets and everything. So, Deb, you want to join us and share your story too? Sue and Kurt are at a rugby, and they'll be joining in follow up. But we're talking about service pets, taking care of them, papers, you know, sailing, being in a cruiser, getting shots, just anything, whatever you would like to share with us. And we talked about too with pets and around the holidays. I know I lost one of our dogs who jumped over a fence during 4th of July. Well, 4th of July is coming up. Yeah, birds lost birds flying around the neighborhood. And but what can we do for our pets for the summer? Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good point. And Bruce, thank you for your service. John, welcome. Yes, I am Debbie Hayes, and I have a branding for an established company, and my branding is debspets.com. So that's how you can get on and find out about products. They're they're very, say, holistic, I'll say. They are natural. There are a lot of pet food companies that really do not put good ingredients in their products. The majority of them, in fact. So we have natural things, and we also have products that have a medicinal mushroom, not the kind that'll get anybody high. So I always tell people, if you want to go get high, you have to go find another mushroom. But this does allow the body to heal itself. And it is available for humans and for pets, because our pets were having such great success using these products that the humans started saying, what about me? So they also started marketing human products, but the name of the company still has pets in it. So I guess some people get sort of bent out of shape about that, but the products are great. And now addressing what Marianne was talking about the holidays. 4th of July and New Year's Eve are the two holidays that have the most pet runaways, we'll say. I mean, somebody leaves their pet out in the backyard. They're going to go to a party for, I'm not going to be gone very long, so the pet will be okay. And they don't realize that the pet is going to get so stressed out that where normally it would not be able to jump the fence, then because of the adrenaline spike with all of the noise of the fireworks and so forth, that it is able to. And just like Marianne said, they lost a pet. I've had other people say that as well. So we do have a product that will calm them down. And I know that it works because my dog is one of those that gets very stressed out when he hears fireworks. So unfortunately, right now, I think he's getting to the point where he doesn't hear as well. So that's the one benefit, is that he doesn't hear the fireworks as well. But it is sad to see when they get older.
Yeah. And I just want to share too, I was a sign language interpreter back in the day. And we're talking about too, and Scott, who is, age 8 and is deaf, hard of hearing, and has a service dog. And sometimes he would say it's a lot easier, Marianne, because life is a lot quieter. Not having that hearing or that kind of stuff. So I really, really learned a lot from him. And like, I'm not missing out. So people with a hearing loss or grew up in the deaf community, it's like, it doesn't bother us. But when we're stimulated by stuff such as fireworks and all that, we don't know what we got until it's gone. And, we're in different cities and bands are playing and loud music and you can't hear it and the vibration and everything. And you're like, turn it off. And you're grateful that you have it, but sometimes like, oh my gosh, calm it down. And now we have 500 million people worldwide with a hearing loss, especially military moms and dads coming home from being of service who can't hear their own children or grandchildren. So now we have a total communication, making sure that we want to gift everybody basic sign language skills. And I'm highlighting my books because of that. Now I want to share a story because Bruce is on here. And Debbie, you're talking about pets. It's a fun story, okay? And I'm wearing the happy colors. It was one of the funnest stories that I can share, and it was such an honor because Scott is still a beautiful deaf man, Bruce. But he goes, I want to go down to the Blaisdell. There's an animal communicator down there. Now, listen, he was gifted a service dog because the parents were having a baby, and the baby and the little Pomeranian, I guess, we're not getting along, and they paid for everything. Okay. And he goes, I want to go down and see this animal communicator Okay, and she was from Germany at the Blaisdell, Bruce. And you know, you're talking about vendors, right? And I go, okay, I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna support you. And you know, we're gonna bring Wolfie down there. And again, I'm highlighting, you know, we had to get, you know, our pictures were on the bus to go around. Okay, this is a service dog because people would go, why you can't bring the dog in here? I go, yes, he's deaf, and we have a service dog papers, and we have the right to be here and everything like that. So you know, that's a lot of work and work for me too. You know, expressing that. So what I'm trying to do is get at the good point, Bruce. I just love this story. It was so funny. So I'm sitting next to the animal communicator, okay? And I have a little bit of a hearing loss on my left side. He's across the lap from me with Wolfie, the service dog, sitting on his lap, okay? So she tells me to tell him that Wolfie, the service dog, tells us that arthritis, sorry, I have to laugh. Arthritis runs in the family, and we need to go to get these specific spices. And this is what we got to do, and it runs in his family. And you know, Scott, staff owner of Wolfie Service Dog, goes, well, where do we buy the stuff at Safeway? What aisle is it in? Where can we get these products? So I'm sharing the light and the energy that, you know, our dogs are there to be of service, our birds, they're there to help us out, and they help us, you know, anything can happen. They're alerters, okay? They're alerters. Their hearing is so high sensitive and all that kind of stuff. And it was just amazing. This is my true fun story, and I laugh. And I go, well, now, how would a dog tell me to tell you that arthritis runs in his family? But guess what? That's what we did. So this is awesome to talk about. Is there anything that you can share with us too as a pet owner that we should be aware of? You know, we were talking, you know, everybody thinks just like we're talking about, the kids think, oh, we want this pet and it's fun. But when they take it home and they're responsible for it years and years, these are things that we need to continue and maintain, and, you know, expressing to people too. This dog is a service, and they laugh. And I just had another friend tenant that came over here, and I understood it. And she told me the story that she was in a coma, and they drove, I don't know how many miles from Denver to give her this gifted service dog. And I said, great, you got a vest, you have all this stuff. Do you have the picture with? And we had to show a lot of different stuff. And, you know, people are kind of getting away with like, oh, this is my service lizard. Okay. But anyway, is there something that we can do for the pets? Because you know what? They're working just as much. All right. And they're intuitive, or they do this stuff. But, you know, I got two great animal communicators on here, nutrition, all that stuff. Can you guys want to share with each other and all that kind of stuff too?
I don't have much to say about it. Uh, I don't know. I'm lost for words. I'm sorry.
Okay. So is there something when birds, okay, like the weather storms, or is there something when you see them flock together or they're coming together? Is there something in nature? I'm trying to bring this in nature, that they're more sensory to us and letting us know that kind our time of change or this. Is there anything like that? I mean, somehow they're expressing, but is there something? I'm just trying to bring ours together, and our animal communicators and nature and what's happening around the world. And you see sea life kind of ending up on the ocean. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to get around a good question with that. But is there something that birds, that when a bird does this, then it means this? Is there an alert,
I don't know.
or a warning, like a bad storm?
Yeah, they sense that, you know, they get a little bit noisy and somewhat when I feel that there's something bad weather coming. But you know, I'm blessed totally because I'm right on the street. The birds are hanging over the looking down on the street. And my neighbors, 4th of July and New Year's, like you mentioned earlier, is the worst. It is smoky, it is noisy, it is nasty out there. I mean, I look out on my lanai and along the coast, and it's just fireworks everywhere, 360 degrees, and my birds accept it. They don't say nothing about it.
Really?
No complaints whatsoever, which is very, very unusual. Yeah. But I had a standard poodle that would just lose everything and hide underneath the couch, but loud music, playing the music and stuff like that, and catering to it, that's how we kind of. I didn't want to give it any drugs or anything like that. They had some stuff, but never did. But they managed to survive. So, but I'm shocked that my birds don't. I mean, birds can have a heart
Right.
attack just as easy as people almost, and but I'm blessed. So, but I
Yeah.
see a dog in the background. It's an older dog too, it looks like. So that's not really good for him, right? That kind of noise and irritation,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Because what we give them is all natural.
Okay, good. Cool,
Yeah.
cool,
Pardon me?
cool. I like it. Sounds good.
Yeah. It does have, this particular product does have a mushroom in it. That can help calm them
Mushroom
down.
seems to be good.
Yeah. Like I said, doesn't get you high, but it does do the work as to help the body to heal itself. So, yeah, I'm interested in hearing more about your birds. I do have a podcast called At World of Pets Podcast, and we record usually on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time,
Okay.
and put a new
Where are you?
episode up if you're interested. Pardon me.
Where are you located?
I'm located in Arizona.
Okay.
Arizona's supposed to be on Mountain Time, but we don't go on daylight. So right now we're on Pacific.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, yeah. And
Well,
we also talk about service animals a lot on the show. I've actually right now got a host and a co-host, and I just am the audience and get out there and talk about it a little bit to drive up the viewership. So there's the guy that's now the co-host is a veteran, disabled vet, and he has a dog that was getting trained to be a service dog, and it was a nonprofit organization that for some reason, which he didn't share with me, got shut down. And then he moved. He was in Washington State, staying with his folks for a while, and he moved back here so that he could be with his children. And so the dog was partially trained, which is too bad. But one of the things that we've tried to let people know is that, of course, some of the service dogs are so expensive. Some of the training places charge like 50,000 for them. I have a friend here whose son has autism, and she has one that like that. But because of these nonprofits, and some of them deal only with veterans, with service dogs for veterans, and others do service dogs for whoever. But there are some that are able to do it on a budget, on people's budget. So, and the one that he found that got closed down was he said, my dog's going to jail. And I'm like, what? And he said, yeah, because there are some facilities, and this was actually the Idaho State Penitentiary, and some of the higher level inmates are trained they weren't doing the technical training. They weren't doing the training like having him the dog help with his medication, letting him alert that he needed his medication and stuff. But as far as the basic training, the dog did go to jail. He was there for a couple of months being trained by these higher level inmates, which I think is great.
I love it. Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
Get guys to do something.
It gives them something, a trained physician to do when they get out. Okay, go ahead, Bruce. Sorry.
No, that's beautiful. I'm all with you. That sounds perfect. I mean, being in prison's got to be insane in the first place, but have something creative to do
Yeah.
and be productive. That's like perfect. I mean, I hope they can do that more often to more people.
Yeah, apparently there are some other states that do have it.
Okay.
Oh, it would be good
Team
if
people.
all of them did, but yeah,
Okay. Interesting. I like it. That sounds excellent.
yeah.
Well, maybe open up Alcatraz again, you know, be another
Right.
bird.
Birdman of Alcatraz.
I love that,
Yeah. Yep.
but that was great. Great. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would really, if you're interested, I'd really like for you to come and talk about the birds on the
Uh,
podcast, because that's one thing that we've had people come and talk about chickens and tortoises and, some of the obviously dogs and cats, um, but some of the unusual, but we have not had any, we did have one lady, she was talking about something else, but her bird did visit. She had a macaw parrot, and that
okay.
was sort of fun. But what kind of birds do you have?
You name it. Name one. I got
Okay, like a macaw parrot, you have
yeah, I
those
got
kind that
macaw.
talk to you and
I got about
He's the
eight,
bird guy. How many do you got? How many you got,
about
Bruce?
20, maybe 18 macaws, about 12 cockatoos, 5 or 6 Amazons, conures, African greys, eclectus parrots from Australia, um, lovebirds, canaries, finches, 3 different
wow.
finches, um, 8 different kinds of cockatoos.
Do you have like an aviary type setup, or is everybody
Oh,
sort of in their own space?
yeah, big cages all around. I have a walk-in aviary with about 14, 15 African greys in there, but breeding, you know,
Oh,
but
okay.
you know, and they go for anywhere from $4,000 on up, baby.
Wow.
But but mostly cockatiels too. I got a lot of them, and I just hand feed them when they're babies and rehome them. I'm not the best advertiser in the world, you know. Um, I put it on Craigslist or word of mouth usually, or my Facebook.
Uh-huh.
So contact you. It's debspets.com.
Yes.
And contact me as birdguyhawaii at hotmail.com. I had a website, but I went to go fix it and ended up torturing it. So no need to have a website. I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars a month for a website.
Yeah.
So
So
just
you said, tell me
Google
again, birds
Hawaii, Bird Guy Hawaii should punch that in and see what comes up. Or the Bird Guy.
of Hawaii. I'm writing it down, so
Oh, okay.
Well,
But
I wanted to share in here too. So, during the lockdown, we met a lot of different people and being on camera. And I got to be the Happy Neighborhood co host in Hawaii. And I rolled over to be the sign language interpreter with the World of Ability. And that's when I met Kurt and Sue. And Bruce, I was there over in Hawaii Kai. And we met a lot of great people. So I was introduced to Trevor Gibbs, who is called the web detective, who makes sure your websites are ADA compliant.
oh,
Yes, a lot of us were paying a lot of more stuff for websites, and yes, AI can make them within 3 minutes. I saw it. I saw it happen. I saw it happen. They made a website with me with Hawaiian youth over there where I was in a different country sailing. But what I want to get at is called Hosinger. And Hosinger is a 4-year plan that Trevor Gibbs from the American Disabilities Act introduced me to. And I paid one time instead of all these other people to do this and change this and make me change it to get the mark. I don't do that kind of stuff. And now you got all these social influencers that
yeah.
Bruce, it doesn't matter, Bruce. You met me way back when, and I'm still Marianne, but not needing attention, but I'm just saying, Trevor evaluates websites, and you can get a website for 4-year plan from Hostinger for $114. And you can look at www.actsofkindnessseries.com, and one-time bill, 4 years, that's it. And it's just people want to change you and do all this stuff, and guess what? And I did, the grant money's out, here you go. And now technology is changing, but I'm just sharing that with you. And that's the whole beauty thing of Happy Neighborhood Projects. Also, we also met other people too in regards to, Legal Shield. Awesome. And, people don't think maybe I'm being a little bit of a commercial now because Sue and Kerr are there, and I have Bruce here to tell you that. So, I'm interpreting, not in a cubicle because you see me around all over, but, all of us were in lockdown, and, all these things were coming across that I'm not responsible for. This is da 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 da. PayPal's doing this, PayPal's that. And we have, other people too, Debbie Miller with Legal Shield and all that comes onto the show. We met a lot of great people, and I met Dr. Liddy, who became my intellectual property attorney. And what I'm getting at, I really want to highlight too, all the amazing people that we met, Bruce, was with Legal Shield. And when we had to relocate, and Legal Shield, I know it was kind of minimal and people don't do it, small business kind of thing. But I just want to tell you, because I'm talking to Bruce, those Honolulu attorneys called me like family. And they just, something happened wrong, and I would just send it to them, and they replied and got rid of it. I had nothing to do with it. I never owned a sewing machine. I'm being billed for the sewing machine. They sent it, they ended it. And the unnecessary fraud that was happening. And gosh, I gotta think of who they are. Berard and Jones over there in Honolulu. They were like my brothers. And of course, we're family, Ohana. And, you're doing okay. I said, look, I'm getting all these things that I've never done. And, and they took care of it. And I want to highlight this. So we met other people with Legal Shield too as well. So when people are trying to do stuff to you that intimidate you or harass you or PayPal, I just got a couple more. I talked with Kurt and everybody else too. I goes, I don't do this. The Legal Shield people really came through and wrote a letter out of demand and said, this is my client, Miss Ambrose. She's never done anything like this. You're taking her information. And they took identity theft and all that as well. And Bruce, seriously, I was sailing with my friend that you met too in Hawaii Yacht Club. And all of a sudden I'm getting all these PayPal things that, and I'm the captain I'm with, he knows me too. And I go, and guess what? Those Honolulu, Brevard, Jones, they called, they took care of everything. So it was worry from, so I wouldn't do a website again because people just want more money to do this or take all this stuff and identity kind of stuff. And you just clear it up. So I don't blame you. And I telling you, the grant money that I got and received, it went in honor of where it needed to be. But there's other fraudsters out there that are doing it. I just got hacked again. And anyway,
Yeah.
they have your back. And it was so funny and talking to them. And they're like, you're over there, you're doing this and that. And I said, no, well, anyway, it was pretty funny. So they're a great law firm, and I highly respect people too that do the Legal Shield. Not like we're looking for it, but all this type of frauds that's happening, and they take care of it. And again, through Happy Neighborhood Projects, we met all these different amazing people, and that can share the story that you never know what can happen. I mean, there's a little bit of a commercial break, kind of, because we don't have the soundtracks and everything. And I have you, Bruce, too, but so all this kind of stuff was crazy, unnecessary happening that was not part of my life because I didn't do that, but I was there. So it wasn't me, but it was me. But anyway, I'm so glad you guys connected. And Sue Roscoff, too. Again, she is a professor, and I'm Marianne, over in the University of Wisconsin somewhere. And she hosts this every week. And her students have graduated, Bruce, and they'll be coming over as marine biologists over there. And we'll learn more. And, we're shifting to happiness here and just kind of taking a little break here about the Happy Neighborhood Project that, we got to do together through the pandemic, and words of wisdom and support the veterans here. And not to say wrapping up a show here. I'm in control right now, but also too, we also have Leanne McLaughlin that may be joining us, and anybody can take it away. So not to interject, but I'm just kind of sharing that Brevard Jones and all that, they called me his family traveling and sailing. And the website kind of stuff too, I get it. Don't need to be there. But things changing in technology. And again, thank you, Bruce, the bird guy, for your service. Debbie, you want to take it away? Anybody?
Yeah, I just, I want, you probably touched on this before I got on, but of course, the World of Ability channel comes with the understanding that people who have disabilities also have abilities. Just like Marianne indirectly points out when she talks about her sign language and how people who are deaf can associate through sign language. So we're lucky here. Okay, somebody might be throwing rotten tomatoes at me because they might disagree with this, but in Arizona, in the school system, the money follows the student. And that includes private schools, charter schools, and public schools. So I have a friend. I texted her at like 5 of the hour, and she obviously is not able to make it today. I didn't hear from her. I knew that 5 minutes notice probably was not enough, but hopefully she will come sometime and talk about the school that she's starting. I'm going to be on the board. It's going to meet at our church and have a Christian base, but she wants to service all students who have disabilities. So sort of a special ed school. And I don't know that much about it. I just talked to her about it very briefly. Told her that I used to be a special ed teacher. I'd love to be on the board if she wanted me to. And she said yes. So that was exciting. But I'd like for her to come on and talk to the viewership about what her vision is for this school.
That's awesome. Waves of emotion. So yes, thank you for sharing. And so glad to see you. I haven't seen you for a couple of months. We've all done different things, and this is what the World Ability about is. And come and share and shine what we've done for the week or years or whatever. And it's just exciting. And tears of joy. The bird I laugh. But yes, and so we have good news. So Debbie, what have I been up to? Working with Clean Water Foundation out of Seattle, Leanne McLaughlin. I've created the book trailers. The books are done. They're ready for animation movies. It's a big relief. We'll see what happens, but it's out there to the universe. And anyway, so we'll see. I'm not the end story person here. I'm the creative director. And I know they're off on location, so I don't really say I know how to end this because usually they use my work to end it. But it's all good. And, the good thing is, I brought all of us together today. And
right.
You too, right? And I'm not talking about me, it's Kurt and Sue and Emily. So everybody has an opportunity every Saturday. And so again, I just wanted to share, Bruce, it took 15 minutes for me to get, I won the Hawaii grant, Awesome Foundation. They give $1,000 away every month to people who would just apply. And we won it, not once, but twice. And I shared it with everybody. And it's like, oh my God, it's so hard. That's not a real, they want to hear about your projects. Everybody has the opportunity to do it. You can upload a few photos, tell us your story. How would you use $1,000, Debbie?
Wow.
Debbie, how would you use it? And just apply. So it's not some huge, I don't say government grant, but I won once,
Yeah.
never twice.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I said,
I mean,
Sue, okay, I'm leaving. I have to leave.
okay.
If recording has stopped, that doesn't mean they're chiming in. We're ending this session. But again, I want to highlight Awesome Grant Foundation because they have gifted us $1,000, not only to give a water unit to Clean Water Foundation that brought Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind a water unit in my books. We've applied for Toronto. Everybody can get it. Not everybody can get it. What I'm trying to say is everybody can apply. And your creativity, your projects, Bruce, you remember I started communicating with, hey, I talked to you.
I can't believe it, but yeah, I'd love to check it out, but I don't need any more money.
Well,
Okay.
again, but we talk about it because you don't, but somebody else could, and it's a service. And if these organizations are gifting it, take it on.
Yeah, sounds
That's
great.
it. Okay. Same thing with veterans. Somebody does, we pay it forward. Pay it forward is another organization we do is Zach Clayton too. And then we're talking about on June 7th, which is coming up with Jay Stoyan and the World of Ability and the Disability Channel. It's more veterans geared. And I'm gifting my book, Underwater Acts of Kindness, for a free download. And there you go. That's all I can share and shine with you. Again, I'm looking at the clock here. I had some visual corrections here and all that, and I kind of heard that. Now, Sue and Kurt Roscoff coming in to let us know if we're continuing or somebody else is coming in. I apologize. I had eye surgery. I can't see
Oh,
the
I wondered
names.
about the glasses. So,
Oh, yeah.
okay, so I'm supposed to be here until, well, for another 20 minutes or 23 minutes. So,
Take it off.
What?
Take it off.
And then, okay, but
I'm
so
sorry.
it won't be recorded, is that right? Or do
I
I turn
just-
my recording on? I don't know.
I'm not a control person to do that. I'm a remote person that's doing, and I
There's
heard
still live
it.
streaming, but
I heard it, and so I don't know if it's a turning off, and I have a hearing loss,
yeah,
but
we're live
I
streaming
know
yet. We're
from
not
11
recording,
to
but we are live
1.
streaming.
Okay, and I
Oh,
know,
okay. Thank
I
you, Sue.
know, and I know from making the commitment from 11 to 1, I know where I need to be and what I'm doing too as well. So it's up to Sue Roscoff because her daughter was so go out and playing. Take it away, Sue and Kurt. Thank you so much for you guys being here. Sue, we connected Bruce, the bird guy, and Debbie Hayes, pets, pets, pets. How about that? Take it away, Sue.
I'm not sure. I think she just stepped in for a second. So I'll just go ahead. She said it was live streaming, so it didn't matter that it's not being recorded. So that answered my question.
Okay.
So Mary Ann, thank you.
Thank you.
And-
I'm just kind of filling in. I don't know how the end of the story goes because I never know, but I wrote 4 books and never know where it goes. But in the end, there's never an ending. There's always a new beginning, and we can be the change that we want to see in this world.
Yep.
Amen.
So you have to go and I'm taking over for the last 20 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It's up to you.
Okay.
Pets, take it away with Bruce. Talk about pets, pets, pets.
Yeah. All right. That
Bye,
sounds good.
Mary Ann. I'll talk to
Bye,
you later.
Mary Ann.
I
I
wanna
miss
know
you.
about websites.
Hugs and kisses, Mr. Bruce.
I want to update my website.
And
Thank you.
aloha.
Aloha. Sounds great. Cheers.
Yep.
Have a good one. Hey, Deb.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Bruce,
I'm brand new to this.
okay. It is I mean, what you see is what you get. It is a drop-in type thing. When I first started attending, I would say, okay, what time do you want me there? Well, whenever. We're here from, 1 to 3 Central. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. I couldn't figure out how it worked, but And it usually seems to work out that there's several guests. I mean, there have been times when maybe when there's only one guest. Um, Sort of like my podcast, sometime a guest will have to bow out at the last second and I would, and my co-host wasn't there. This is when I was doing the hosting and they're usually pretty short episodes at that point, but I'm there talking for like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah. I'm not much of a talker, but I managed to do okay, I guess.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't know. I did an interview with somebody. They came as a couple college kids, doing a project, and they wanted to interview me, and I was just really short for words. I don't know. They put the camera going and dub 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 dub. I didn't know what to say, but
Yeah.
I do have somewhat an interesting life. They admitted or something, and I mean I'm blessed. I got it pretty easy considering the fact I own my own house and a couple cars, motorcycle, and 120 birds, and paying my bills, and just
And you live in Hawaii. What more
living.
could you ask for, right?
Recently got married and went to
Oh,
Thailand.
congratulations.
Yeah, so it's crazy. I mean, I'm gonna be 69 years old. She's 55, so Japanese.
Very good.
So
Very
keep them
good.
healthy. I hope. But no complaints, I guess. So
So can I ask you something? Can we go back to the birds for a minute?
sure,
Okay.
birds to
So,
work.
so you were mentioning marketing. I mean, you didn't really specify the word marketing, but basically you do sell your birds.
Yeah, I don't
Right?
advertise well.
You
It's
don't
usually
ever what?
I don't know how to advertise. I'm not a very good. I need a secretary for that or a partner or something that can get the word out. But I got a
Right.
lot of birds for sale a lot at times. And been going to pet shops and stuff like that. And one pet shop buys my birds, and
Uh-huh.
I hate to sell it for $500 and have them sell it for $1,500, but I mean that's the way it is. You buy low, sell high.
Right.
But but then on Craigslist, and then people come here. Then they come with a couple carloads full of kids and run around around my property, which I don't like either. But
Right.
whatever, it all works out one way or another. But I got a handful of birds now. I don't know how I'm going to move them all, but we'll see.
Mhm. Yeah. So are you on social media?
Not really. Facebook, what, like that?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't do that kind of stuff. I mean, I have it, and Instagram, I don't know nothing about. So
I mean,
I just,
just even if you do just Facebook and you just um put something on there about, I'm selling birds, blah blah blah, whatever you think would be catchy, pictures, maybe
yeah,
pictures of the
they
birds or
gotta
something.
go to my site, and who's going to go to my site if I don't jump up and down and hand out cards or whatever? How do they know about?
Um, what about the marketplace on Facebook?
Yeah. I
Where
try to
you
put them in there actually right now this morning. And on my credit card, it was 209, 209, 209. And there was some other kind of payment that I had to pay it. And I don't
what?
think I'd advertised. So it's kind of bizarre.
Oh,
I think
I see. I
market,
haven't done anything other than like I sold my microwave because we got a new microwave that goes on the wall, So
okay.
personal stuff. So um when you do it as a business, you have to pay on the marketplace and Facebook.
It seems that way. I don't know. I'm just kind of confused about that. So I just got a
Yeah.
new card in the mail, because I called up and disputed the charges, and so they cut my credit card off and gave me a new one, and they're investigating. So I don't know if it's legitimate or what, or if I'm selling sliding doors, my kind of a commercial thing, and
Uh-huh.
and that's what the fee was coming from. And I still got the damn doors. Nobody called me, but there
Yeah.
are emails I got saying, "Oh, what's the measurements? What's this? What's that?" And it just seems like a scam, because I
Mhm.
contacted back and they didn't get back to me. So I don't know. I tell Mariana very technical, so um probably we're the
Yeah.
same age. Yeah, you're not quite that old yet, are you? 69?
Oh, I'm ahead of you by several years.
Oh, stop it.
I
All
am.
right, okay.
Yep.
But you seem to be pretty smart and you know a little bit about that
About what?
advertisement and Facebook and Craigslist.
A little bit.
Just basic.
I thought of something a minute ago, but I'm having a senior moment and I forgot.
Okay. You're talking
Oh heck, what was it? I thought it was a good idea too.
and probably pop up.
I'll think of it. I'll let you know. But basically, I was thinking of something that where you could get. I mean, I know YouTube.
Okay.
If you got a YouTube account, if you don't have one,
Yeah.
and what if you took like a 30-second shot of one of your macaws, say, and had one of them talking. I mean, people love that sort of stuff. That would be a good way to introduce yourself to.
Okay, so how
wouldn't it?
does it how do people get to see it? They gotta punch in macaw, then hopefully that will pop up or what? Because I had problems with my BMW, mechanical, and I put in the year, the model, the thing, and I got what I needed to know, which is kind of interesting. But
Mhm.
so, how do people get to see my 30-second video that I did?
Yeah,
They'd have
they would.
maybe Hawaii.
You're right. I mean, they would look for macaw. Um,
I don't know how that works. So it's just a slap in the or a toss of a coin that somebody will see it. It's not automatic that it's going to go to any direct
right. You're
line.
right. But um, see, I mean, I can tell you about YouTube, but I don't use it myself much. So, but yeah, I mean, the more views that you get, then the more the more people it goes to, because there are people that haven't asked that maybe it'll just pop up.
Yeah, and then if they like it, you get so many likes, you can actually get money for it.
They do have that. Yep.
Yeah, you can. And Bruce, I think you do have a good thing, but uh,
Hey,
a
you're
lot,
back.
I just not being the um when you have more 100,000 followers, 100,000 more headaches.
Yeah,
Okay, because
that's what.
people aren't gonna like you, and you're not gonna get the money. And TikTok, that I don't know. I've never done it. Influencers are out there and they're seeing the strain of how hard it is to be an inside sales rep, okay,
But I don't need
to do all
patient.
this stuff. So less medicine, less headache. That's all I'm trying to tell you. You're not missing out. I haven't done it and I let go of it. We were entertainers, that, and so people, because it's the drive, because to do this kind of stuff and don't quit your job. You're retired, okay? And we did our work, and we're doing our service here now, and all that kind of stuff. So, that's all I can tell you. I kind of look at it and I watch all these flops and failures, these events, kind of like not a crime scientist, but I watch these other people who talk about the bad event to do this. So you're going to have more of this stuff, more complainers, more of this. Enjoy your life, right? As an
Yeah,
opportunity. I wrote a book and I just saw a book event and they wanted $40 to do this, and all these people are complaining, and the book authors were paying $3,000 and they didn't make any money, and they put this projection out there enjoy your life.
So stay away from it, saying, right?
Yeah, watch it. Watch it. Just watch it. People are just, oh, we're, whatever. We did stuff for good things, okay? So everyone's going to have their opinion and all that kind of stuff. So, but overproduce. Anyway,
Yeah, I understand. I think what you're saying, but we could talk outside this a little bit. Sounds good.
yeah,
But I
no,
want,
it's all good. And the beautiful thing is that guess what? Bruce and Deb, we all have this way on every Saturday because Kurt Roscoff and his wife offer this as a wins. We're not talking about people, or not saying that. We're highlighting people. I tend to watch now people when you didn't have the chance about doing these events and all this kind of stuff, and they're spending X amount of money and they're not making any money. But the whole thing is, it's a world of ability and persons with disabilities, and anybody can be disabled at any time. And thank you, Bruce, for your service. You're in the military. And, I wrote a series of children's sign language books. You saw me, Bruce. You saw me live with my deaf friend signing. That was a lot of work. And translation and being there and being of service. So all of us do our part. And this is really what the highlight of this podcast is about. And when they want to highlight the veterans and to show their support to do that kind of stuff. And we left a legacy, you know? So think about it. If it is somebody's listening, Debbie, right? Doesn't it put a smile on your face? Somebody's
Yeah.
listening. Someone's doing a smile. I thought when I was talking to Birdman, sorry, Bruce, but I was an interpreter. I'm going, well, how would these birds talk to me? And I had them coming over here, and they do. So every day is a different new beginning and a blessing. Nature and all that, and discussion too was about having papers for a service dog. And, the whole impact was about the story, how to be certified with this, what really is. And, dogs talk, everybody does everything and all that kind of stuff, but kind of being legit and it's kind of funny and friendly and all that stuff. So that was kind of like my grasp for this, flow of the show, in regards to Kurt and Roscoff and all that stuff. So thank you so much. And what a great story. And again, we thank you and support you veterans and all that. And I'll let Kurt and Sue take that away. And aloha. I'm Marion of Waikiki.
see
Yes.
you later.
Sure.
Later.
Yeah. Very good.
She's number one there. She's a character. We known each
I
other.
just, one more question I have for you, Bruce, and that is, when you're raising the macaws, do you teach, them to talk? How do they,
Things
how
up.
does that work?
I'm not a trainer, or I love them and treat them good, and give them affection, and that's about it. I teach them not to. If they bite somebody, I have to smack them. No, I don't. I'm not supposed to smack a bird or a dog or anything. Apparently, negative actions is not good. But
Right.
but I can't have birds on people and have them get bitten.
Right.
And once in a blue moon that happens. So, but knock on wood, I got really blessed birds that don't. But
So
the secret
just
is
from listening, I mean, do you talk in front of them and do some of the birds pick up, start repeating what
tape
you say?
recorders. They're not recorders, but night, I say a lot, and they pick that up. And like I said earlier, I'm babysitting a couple birds. This gal's in Paris right now. And I got a
Okay.
blue and gold macaw and an African gray and a severe macaw. And my phone goes doot doot, has a funny noise to it when I get a text. And the damn bird picked it up in the last 3 days. And so she's going to come back and take this bird home. And it's going to make all these funny noises. And I don't know if she's going to be upset or or if the bird doesn't hear it anymore, maybe I will never do it again, but he's
Right.
just stating my sounds. But
Well, if he picks up your sounds, I'm sure he's done it for her too. And so she probably will not be at all surprised.
yeah, it's got to be pretty repetitious, I think, but who knows, yeah. But it's unbelievable, yeah. I don't care if they talk, just so they behave themselves, and
Yeah.
don't. But it's really nice to have a bird that has full feathers and can actually fly away from you, and it doesn't. Or if it does fly, it comes back to you. And I mean, that's better than sex. I love a bird like that, but I don't have too many. That takes a
Right.
lot of, and I'm getting too old. I don't climb trees anymore to go after a bird, and there's times when I had to do that several times. Or just
Wow.
bird can fly, got out of the cage and he's up in a tree, he's green, hard to see,
Yeah.
and then sometimes when a bird gets lost, maybe it'll fly on somebody's shoulder or something, they'll walk in the house with it, and then they got a free bird. I had bad experiences with Humane Society getting one of my birds, and they says, and it's got I used to ban my bird guy on it. And I says, Debbie, I heard you got one of my birds. And no. I says, well, I heard you did. Can I come and look at it? I says, yeah, sure. And I says, Debbie, it's got my band on it. And she says, that doesn't mean it's your bird. I says, what the hell? Here's a certificate, it matches. And she says, you could have sold it to somebody. I said, Deb, that's my bird. I want my
Oh,
bird.
good grief.
Call the police. I says, if you don't call the police, I'm going to call the police. There's 5 squad cars at the Humane Society. I walked away with that bird. It's just
Yeah.
so corrupt, even Humane, our Humane Society, I don't like it. I lose a bird. Sometimes I just don't even bother calling them, and let people know it's just a loss on my part. I mean, unless it's an expensive bird.
Yeah.
But I lose birds and oh well. I don't ban them anymore because it's somewhat dangerous because they have an open cut in the band, it's not, and they'll get caught in a toy or something, and I had birds like bite their toes off trying to get it loose,
Oh,
and they
wow.
do it with their
Yeah, that
toes,
sounds dangerous for the bird.
and they could snag on it at something, it's terrible. So
Yeah.
that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't know.
just about ready to close out here, right? We've got
Yeah,
What
maybe.
you.
a great educational information today. Again, we highlight Sue Roscoff, Kurt Roscoff. This will be happening and sharing the world of ability. And that's what this podcast is about every Saturday and how things do affect everybody's lives. So great stories. Tears of joy, Birdman. Bruce, the bird guy. Yes, I was there. And you met me too as well. And Debbie, well, we're on Zoom and that's okay. But the good news is that we're always the good news and you are his messenger. So I just want to shine the light too with it too.
Yeah. Hi,
And
Mark. We're just getting ready to close out here.
It's been fun.
thank
I thought
you
it
so
started at
Yeah.
much. I
Oh,
wish you
okay.
an
No, that's okay.
aloha.
Wait, somebody else is talking.
No,
All
I
right, go
think
ahead. Come on and talk in. Please
no,
shine the
no, I think,
light. Please
no, I
shine the
think,
light.
no, I think what happens is there's another one at 1:00 and I think I came early. So that's why I'm at the end of yours.
Oh, okay.
Please
So,
shine the
Very
light.
good.
Welcome and aloha.
Aloha, everybody. Hope to see you
thank
again.
you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Take
you.
care, guys.
Mahalo. Adios, amigos, amigas.
Aloha.
Thank you so much. And you can
Ciao.
stay on.
Peace out. Oh, nice. Yes, indeed. Who's got the better arm?